Da 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 da! What's my good cheer? Welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes, get those notifications out. In the meantime, if you've never popped into one of my lives before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside, and I'm just looking behind me. I'm having a big yard sale, and we've been like hauling stuff out to my niece's place. She's got a great big yard and garage and stuff. And we're going to have it there like a multi-family, even though we're all the same family. We have that much stuff. I cannot believe my house still looks full. And I got a truckload and 2 carloads to my sister. And I've already, you can see Rubbermaid containers and stuff. I am just getting rid of absolutely everything. I haven't started on that wall yet. I haven't dusted it. I haven't restocked the books. I give books away on occasion and stuff, right? So I can see some empty spots and stuff. So, I want to get that filled up. I have a little, what do you call that? Reservoir. I got a couple of Rubbermaid containers of mindset and motivation and inspiration and religions and thought leaders, science, surprisingly. Um, I was never, my dad loved science. My dad loved the space age specifically. I remember I was only maybe 5 or 6 years old, and I could probably just, because I know the year I was born, and then just having the year that they set foot on the moon for the first time, right? We'd be able to figure out. But I'm pretty certain I must have been about 6 years old. I had just started school, and my dad had woken up all the kids early in the morning, right? And they were getting ready to have man's right. It was in black and white. You see little clips every once in a while online of that, right? That first landing on the moon, which happened to be the only, right? Like they're shooting from Mars. They're out in our hemisphere. There's satellites and everything. So much action going on out there. And yet they haven't gone back to the moon. They haven't actually set foot back on the moon. Well, they have in the AI and in the technology, right? Because, they send the robots out there. And yeah, my dad found that stuff so interesting. My dad's favorite was Carl Sagan and David Suzuki. So again, you could see he loved space, he loved science, and he loved Mother Nature because, David Suzuki was always an activist in taking care of the environment, and he still is. I subscribe to his foundation. If I ever have the opportunity to contribute significantly to it, that would be amazing. And I should, just even insignificantly, those small, because every little bit adds up. Like all this junk that I'm taking to this yard sale, it's going to add up. I hope I make a fortune on it, right? Cindy needs a new desktop, and I got a trip that still has to have camping spots paid for, gas paid for. Well, we'll manage to get that done, you guys. I will be putting a link to my sister's eBay channel, only because that's where we're going to be listing. We go out all the time, and we do so well. Like it's 2 weeks in a row that we just went out for a couple hours and we made at least $400. And last week we got some old 1980s vehicles, brand new in the box, stone guards. We paid $5 a pair in these boxes. They came with the clips and the little package of screws and everything. Like they were just brand new, and they were chrome. They were really nice. And when we looked them up, well, we listed them for $125 a piece, right? And it cost us $20. So we're going to make $500. We might, bargain. We take best offer, come down a little bit, and, right? In that kind of profit margin, it's not a biggie. But also this weekend, me and my sister are having a little bit of a competition. So instead of listing eBay items, we are doing locally marketplace. So she took one of the items and I took one of the items. And the contest is to do the research, get it listed, and sell it, right? And it doesn't matter. Like her item that she got was worth a lot of money. It was like $700, right? Retail. And she picked it up for $15. So she was so awesome in that. It was something I would not have even really looked at. But yeah, she hit it on that one, and she put it up, listed it on Marketplace for $250. For myself, I got a pair of um, uh, Helly Hansen um, work boots, rubber, steel-toed work boots, but not just any kind of, right? Not just the name of Helly Hansen, which is sellable in itself, but the fact that it was the top of the line that we got. Now we paid a little bit more than the racket sets, right? But we paid $30 for the gum boots. We paid $15 for the rackets and the case. The case was worth $250. The rackets also were worth $200, $225 each or something like that. So a value of like $700. So she listed it for $250 just for a quick sale, just a little game that we were having, right? And because they're bigger items, so she could post them on her eBay and ship them and stuff, but it would be pricey in shipping. Shipping can become just as equally expensive as buying the item itself these days, and that's unfortunate because a lot of people put a roof over their head, and it's a good way to keep the economy going, right? And yeah, and she's holding gas tickets, and she just got a new vehicle, and if they ding her in money because now the government is right looking at the entrepreneurs because they know, right, a good part of the population is moving into entrepreneurship, right? So they want their cut of the money, and right, fair, and you have to be able to keep track who those entrepreneurs are, and they're really smart because they put these incentives out there, bursaries, small loans, all kinds of different type of initiatives and help in starting a business on your own. But right now they got you. Now they know that you work for yourself. They can keep track, and because of, right, when you get loans and bursaries and stuff, you have to properly declare your incomes and stuff. So it's a great way for the government to track how much money the entrepreneurs are going are bringing in. Fair enough, right? We are moving and into a different world, right? And it's amazing that so many people are recognizing that they're going to have to find a way to put a roof over their heads, right? Because you never know the way with science and technology, the way that it's going. And my dad was right into it. That was 60s and the 70s. And like I said, he got us all up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, like hours before. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning or something that they were actually going to set foot on the moon. And yeah, he got us up and he made it into a big event, right? And he had I think he even bought a TV just for that. I don't remember. I was kind of young, right? I have a little bit of that short-term memory, and that comes a little bit from, well, sometimes experiences that we have. We kind of pay attention to what's important, and sometimes we don't pay as much attention as to things that don't uh, affect us or benefit us, right? Or benefit us in a way that will benefit others. So I am not right. Like I said, we were talking about the headline news yesterday. It's just not my thing. But I have been munching on a couple of small headlines, not like the big ones. I don't pay attention to the wars. I don't really pay attention to politics, but like this landslide in Finland, I was all over that for like a week before that cliff fell down. I was all over that, and I'm still keeping updated in that area, and I find that curious because it was just a small headline when I moved into it, and then all of a sudden, right? Also, I like to keep updated in archaeological discoveries. There's so many going on now. Hello, Eugene. I see you there. Hello, I'm doing great tonight. I hope you're doing absolutely amazing, and thank you so much for popping into my lives. And for those of you who pop in later, I hope you're having an amazing day, because I suspect most people will be right driving to work, or they'll be at home because this is also stored as a video, so you can go in if you miss my lives and you want to come back in. Just come into YouTube, and you can pick them up on YouTube, but it's also set as a playlist, a podcast playlist. So you could also just listen to it. And I don't think I stall out too much in my yibber yabbering. I'm known to be able to fill up a couple of hours with right just the jitter chatter. And I mix. It's that idea of when I was a little kid. I hated mashed carrots and turnips. Oh, I just hated it. And every holiday, Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, anytime that we had turkey, there was mashed carrots and turnips. And we were never allowed to leave the table until our plates were clear, and especially the vegetables. And sometimes I would be sitting at that table for hours, and there was no bargaining. There was no, right? How the kids get away with murder, and they shed a few tears, and mom breaks down and gives them the iPhone. There was none of that going on in my family. And if I was sitting there for hours because I couldn't get the mashed carrots and turnips down, I'd be sitting there for hours, and there wouldn't be no pity for me. There would be, right? It might be the tabletop might have been my pillow for the evening, but yeah, it was what it was in that. But I got to recognize quite a bit that I was just going to move into something else. And, when I come in this late and I start moving down those side branches, which I do all day long in my own time that I spend in the projects and in the little bit of movement that I get to make in my choices, and whether or not it works out for me, I'm grateful that more often than not that the things that I move towards I get to have, but it's not always the case, right? And I recognize that in life, and life happens, and we have to recognize that we just have to roll with that. That was a lot there. That was a lot there. And I was just going to say, it's not like I come in here and I'm drilling or anything, because it's just my own conversations, in my own experiences, in my own adventures in my life, that I share it, right? I am a vlogger of sorts. But when I do that, I feel compelled to help where possibly I might have gotten it wrong, or those family units that we have, we get it wrong. That I want the next generations to do a little bit better, right? Just like I know I'm not the mom, right? But it is kind of like that idea how we always want to do better by our children. And because I'm such a true believer that, there's that possibility that we might not be able to stick around as a species of humans, that we could become extinct very easily. China is having such a hard time of it, right? And that's just one place, but it's going on everywhere. And they call it accidental motherlessness. And a lot of it is attributed to women having careers and women's liberations being more independent. But a lot of it is in the stress, because when we stress ourselves out, that the world can easily get at us. And especially in our generation of the 60s and 70s, it was like, right, it was like, you never knew what was coming at you, and you had to adapt and conquer in the moment and trust that everything was gonna be okay. It's amazing how much trust I put into things, right? When I didn't see a hope in hell, but I trusted that everything was going to be okay. And in the end, everything was okay, right? Everything ended up being okay. Maybe not always the way that I expected or wanted it to be, but in the end, I was happy. It worked out for me, right? And that's something that helps me out, and I would like that, right? So, and I know in mashing the mashed carrots and turnips, the only way that I could get that down was mixing it with the mashed potatoes and the gravy. So I couldn't taste the mashed carrots and turnips. Like I said, otherwise I'd be sitting at the kitchen table for hours and hours. Everybody'd be off to bed, and I'd still be staring at my bowl by that time, because she would have scraped all the plate into the bowl, and I would still be sitting there, right, trying to get this stuff down. And it was hard, and it wasn't a singular time. This was something that happened all the time. I really did not like mashed carrots and turnips. But you know what? Mixing it in was something that I liked, something that I enjoyed. It made it easier to get down. And I was able to do that long enough to the point where I was able to eat the mashed carrots and turnips without the potatoes. Now, I can't truly say that I enjoy mashed carrots and turnips, right? That's not the case, but I don't think I dislike them. I don't think I have that fear and agitation or stress. And a lot of it is the story. A lot of it is the experience I had, in trying to get those vegetables down. But sometimes, right, and me showing up here and being able to fill up that space that when I come in, that I kind of mix my version of turnips, right, in with those mashed potatoes, which is, right, a little bit of Cindy and a little bit of those other parts of me. And it works well for me because it's in my lessons anyway. So all I have to do is be consistent in making sure that I'm showing up, but in sharing my goals. And that's what I wanted to come into, you guys, right? I have a couple of little adventures coming up. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm just like a little social butterfly again. But I'm going on a big weekend pig roast next month. It's a big camp out on a gentleman's farm, and they raise money. He's passed away now, but they raise money every year, and this is the 15th year that they've done this, and they raise money for cancer. But they have bands come in and they build a stage, and everybody brings their camping gear and tents and right, plants themselves out in the fields and stuff, maybe more to the forest line or something. I don't know, maybe I'm sure they have a designated area, but it's a great big fabulous time, right? I love pig roast. Oh, so delicious. And there's always those other things, potato salads and all those other trimmings and the music. And for me, it's not necessarily enjoying music because I'm not really a music person, but it's in that social setting that I'll be able to mix a little bit of right, a little bit of turnips with the mashed potatoes and just be doing it in a fabulous, comfortable, fun time that I haven't done since my trip in September. But also in that, I go by myself on those adventures in September. This is more like a social event that I'm going to in July. So it should be fun. And my sister says it's a big drinking thing. I don't know. I have not drunk, I think, in 3 years. I think it was 3 Christmases away, 3 Christmases ago, maybe 2 Christmases ago. I made a couple of cocktails. I went out and got some Kahlua and some banana liqueur and some right. And I made myself for my Christmas Eve live show. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've been drinking and being a social event and being the kind of social event that I'm going to. It will be fun. It will be a great mix of all kinds of characters, 100%. And I'm going to go, I'm just going to shine. I'm going to have so much fun. And I might have a few drinks myself. We'll see. We'll see. I have no problem. I can party with everybody and not have a drink and have just as good a time, and that's the truth, right? And that's the truth. I don't need to have alcohol to have a good time, but right, it is kind of something I've been wanting to do, but I've been working every year that it's been on. I've been working, and my sister always invites me, and this is the first year that I'm able to go. So I'll be filming it. So maybe we'll get it posted, edited, and posted, and I'll probably do it in a way also so that maybe short clips of the event itself, and just hand it off to the people who work on putting it on. My brother-in-law is one of those because he has played with his band at this event that they do every single year, and so he helps out. He goes in early to set up and he stays late to clean up. And I have no problem. I'll join forces with them and I'll pitch in too. And then of course my trip in September, right? My trip in September that I'm planning right now. Kind of narrowed it down, but it looks like I got a couple of extra days with the car. Absolutely amazing, right? So there is a park that I would really like to go to, but it is 2 days away. And so I think I would like to do that one first and then do the 2 days at the parks coming home. Do you know what I mean? So that I'm closer to coming home. So I'll go take the furthest one first. I won't drive all the way there. I'll have to stop somewhere, whether or not I stay in a motel or if I actually pitch a tent for one night. I didn't want to do that in my parks. I wanted to spend at least 2 days in each park. But the only way that I could do that is if I do those 2 days getting to the destination where I want to go. And then I'll still have to do that on the way back. Right? We'll see how it goes. Tomorrow I kind of designate. I've been in projects the past 2 days, right? We're cleaning house. We're getting ready to get rid of all that stuff. Like I said, Cindy needs a new desktop. We're going to get that taken care of, and we're going to get the campsites paid for. So I need to get that little bit of research so I'm down pack as to what parks I want to go to in September and which campsites I want. So I've been already in checking the campsites, and yeah, some interesting hikes. I always For me, it's the trails. I take a look at the park and I look at the trails because I like to walk. I like to go on the trails myself. I'm not a so much a beach walker, even though I do beach walk. I enjoy it, but not as much as I enjoy doing the trails. So when I go into the parks, I'm everything about the trails. And I also like to walk the campgrounds. I like to look at the RVs and the trailers because that's my one of my goals, one of my dreams is I want to be an RVer in my retirement years where I won't be retiring, right? But I want to be on the road, right? I want to be on the road. And so I like to when I'm in the provincial parks, I like to go for walks in the campsites themselves and I get into the the electrical sites and I take a good look at all the RVs. I've even been people even come out and go, "Oh, you want to come in and take a look?" And it's a little bit embarrassing because I'm a total stranger, but I don't ask, "Can I come into your home?" Right? And it just somehow they say, "Oh, come and check it out." Because I said, "Oh, is that ever amazing? Wow!" And then, "Oh, you got to see the inside." And so I get a lot of invites to come in. And I'm not an expert, but I know kind of what I would like if I was on the road myself, right? I know that I want to be driving my trailer. I want to, right, my motorhome. I want to be driving it myself. So I'm looking at B classes. I don't need anything huge, but I need something livable in because I plan on spending a great deal of time on it, right? Especially when I'm gonna possibly build my own home on a piece of unorganized land. Right, but these are all dreams, these are all goals, and these things aren't happening unless I'm moving towards them and right and it's kind of what I do, right? Because I have to be that evidence for others, right? To show that it can be done. And so far so good. I'm still here. I swear this channel should have been done in after the third year. And here I am 10 years. I've been on YouTube 10 years, over 10 years now. Pretty incredible. And I'm still so grateful to be able to be a part of this community, right? I've pivoted so much in what I bring to my channel and it has been a process for me. But at the same time, I felt that support always. The lessons always came at me. And somebody who's not digitally and technically inclined that way, I allow myself to be pulled into it and I'm so grateful of the true patience of Google and YouTube, right? Because right, it's not the norm, right? That right? It's not the norm, but right, it's absolutely fabulous, and it is the evidence. It is the evidence, and if I'm not there in this moment, it's okay, right? Yeah, it will happen somewheres down the road, and that belief in that, and when it happens, that will be the evidence. The evidence will be me driving down Route 66 on my way to a seminar, right? Right? Staying in the state parks and the provincial parks, meeting people, taking walks in the trails, enjoying my retirement, right? And some people says that doesn't sound like retirement. It's Cindy's kind of retirement because idle does not suit me. And that is the truth. And that is something that I've recognized since, you know, not being at that job that put the roof over my head. But I want to make sure that in that movement that I make, right, that it's actually going towards things that, right, put a smile on my face, make me feel safe, make me feel comfortable, make me feel welcomed, right? Can't ask for much more than that. Okay, you guys. I'm not even going to name this one because I was sort of kind of all over the place. And I still didn't even talk about, I have all these topics, that I think would be so good. And then I come in and then I talk about something. I talk about something that I'd never even given any thought to, and then there it is, and it's not like it's any worse or any better in the conversation, but it's just curious that is it's right. I got a list, you guys. It's Cindy's turn next time. Tomorrow we'll right arc it. Right, those other parts we can pop in whenever they want, but Cindy is picking the topic tomorrow. Yeah, get some of those highlighters and check off some of those topics off my list. Okay, you guys. Eugene, thank you so much for popping into my live. And like I said, pop in later, put your feet up, sit in, yeah, take your turnips, mix them with your mashed potatoes, and see how they go down. Maybe nothing goes down. Maybe it just all tastes like yum yum, right? You never know. Or, right, the opposite. And that could be just as much the truth, right? But I'm still happy he came in. You guys have a great night. And we'll see